If you want to take your photos and content creation in the gym to the next level, I really believe that you're going to benefit from watching this. What's up everyone, thanks for clicking on this video and checking out my channel. My name's Tanner, I'm a graphic designer in the fitness industry, so I go around taking photos and creating videos for people and products that I believe in. Today, hey, I'm gonna interrupt the video just real quick. I feel like just while I'm editing this video, I feel like I was talking quieter than I typically do and just trying to like restrain myself and hold myself back from getting like too loud or too excited. I was, just because in the room right next to me, my kid was sleeping at the time, and this was the only time of day I had to record. The last thing I want to do was start recording, and then I wake her up, and then that's my time gone, and I have to wait another week. So that was just on my mind. I was kind of paranoid about it, but I hope it makes sense. I hope it's understandable. I'm gonna get back to editing the video that you're watching right now. We're going to be focusing more on the photography side of things and how I go about editing photos to create this enhanced point of view. So I'm going to show you how you can edit like me with a photo like this. We're going to be editing our model Duncan. He is a personal trainer in the Cincinnati area. If you'd like any programming or nutritional guidance, go ahead and message Duncan on Instagram. You can find him on Instagram at Hoffit. Just let him know that Tanner sent you. I'm also going to be using Lightroom throughout this, but remember not to rely solely on editing software to create what you have in mind. Photo editing, video creation, all that type of content is going to be like a well-built house. A well-built house needs a really good base. If it doesn't have a good base, nothing's going to come together as well as it could have, and it's all just going to there a little bit wider, just like kind of open things up. It's all going to come crumbling down if that base sucks. Make sure your subjects are well lit. We don't want anything too overexposed or too underexposed. We want to limit or have no distracting elements. We want to make sure our ISO, aperture, shutter speed is all set how we need it to be, and we should be good to go. So let's start by giving this a simple 4:5 crop. That way we know what all we're working with. Then I'm going to move on to our highlights, and I'm just going to lower them so it reveals more of this texture on his skin. Next, I'm going to go down to our curve, and I'm going to give this just a little bitty cute little S curve, and that's going to make our blacks, our darks richer, but then it's also going to make our light more impactful. Now doing this, I did add in some of those highlights that I started off just by removing, but I'm totally okay with that because it enhanced the rest of the light throughout the remainder of the image. It's quick, it's easy, and I'm able just to move on. This dehaze slider right here will make the image look much more crisp and not as faded. Next, these overhead lights here, they're really kind of boring to have in an image, and honestly, they're just an eyesore. So what I like to do, I like to make them a bit more exciting, serve more of a role in our image. When you create radial gradients, I'm going to make a vertical one and a horizontal one, cross them together like a T, and I'm just going to increase the exposure and highlights and make them look like they're beaming down and illuminating this reflective surface. And now they play more of a role in this image, and I really love just how much more exciting and impactful they have made this overall photo. So since we made a scene with this type of light just beaming down, I feel like the shadows on our model are going to be a bit more richer and just darker. So I'm going to use the brush tool, and I'm just going to go along his forehead, his eyes, and his cheek face area. And I'm just going to increase our shadows and lower the exposure. That way it just feels like it matches the whole scene a lot better. Lastly, we just have some final touches. This red padding here, I'm just going to cool them down. So I'm just going to drag our temperature over to the cool side a bit. It just felt a bit too punchy to me with the rest of this scene. And for gym photography and video creation, I typically make those areas a bit cooler, just because if you walk into a gym, it's typically a bit cooler than a grocery store or another public facility. Now doing that, I'm going to go into the opposite direction. I'm going to select our model, and I'm going to drag our temperature to the warmer side. And the reason I'm doing this is because whenever you have a model in the fitness industry especially, they are typically a tanner. Hey, they're typically tanner than other individuals in other commercials or other ads or other just, different marketing campaigns. And this is for health reasons. This is just also simply because it looks better to our eyes than this Ohio paleness that I'm rocking. And finally, with our model still selected, I'm just going to increase the shadows a bit where those muscles just intersect, because if you're on like a bodybuilding stage, or if you just want to show off your muscles, typically the darker the shadows, the more cut and ripped and muscular you look overall. So what did we learn about editing gym photos? We learned a few things. One, whenever we're editing photos specifically with people as the focal point, We need to make sure that we manipulate or sculpt the light with masking. That way we have full control on how the light and the shadows appear in the entire scene. We also learned that shadows can work towards our advantage. So sometimes whenever you're editing photos, it's not a matter of making things brighter or more vibrant. Sometimes it's a matter of lowering your highlights to make sure that people see the muscles on your model, and then darkening the shadows so that your model looks much more muscular. Lastly, whenever we're editing our photos, we need to make sure we pay attention to the small details that are in the photo, because we're typically taking photos in a gym or some area where there's going to be other props. There's just going to be other elements involved. So elements such as the padding being too warm or too punchy, that's why I cooled them down a bit, or the overhead lights just being boring and such a pain to look at, I made them more illuminated. I made them play a larger role in the overall image. Another small detail, making sure like our shadows on Duncan's face, which isn't really getting hit by light, makes sense with the brighter lights. All these details are going to come together to make your project, whether it's a photo or a video, look much more professional. All right, I'm going to sign off after that. That was a mouthful for me, but I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you just enjoyed the video. If you learned anything, crush that like button, because that'll let me know this resonated with you in some way. If you want to see me work on an edit in the future for the fitness industry, use the comments down below. Let me know what you want to see. That way I know what to make next time. If you want to see anything that I'm working on right now, you can find me on Instagram at theycallme_Tanner. And if you want to see anything I've been a part of in the past, you can go to my website, theycallmetanner.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Hope you have a great night. Hope that you have a great workout. I hope the pre-workout that you take hits you just right to where it doesn't make you crash, but it also doesn't make like your heart want to explode out of your chest. It's like just right. And like, you ever press shuffle on your Spotify, like your liked songs, and just press shuffle and it's like synced to your workout somehow? Like your warm-up song is just like in the middle, or it like builds up to where it's like more energy, and you're on like your second working set and it's like, oh dude, this is like my third favorite song. What if it like transitioned into my favorite? That's my favorite song. I feel stronger. I hope that you see real progress in the gym. That's a good feeling. I hope you see some serious gains. That's a good time. Have a great night. Thanks for your support. I'll catch you next time. Bye.